Ladies and gentlemen, I am Melvin Banks.
And this is Ito.
And we are
the Carbonation Conversation,
reviewing the season finale, Archive 81, Episode 8.
What Lies Beneath.
But before we get into that, on this lovely day in Chicago, finally getting some good weather.
Beautiful.
I know. I got a few things to say, just a few. But first, shall we do a happy new beer and talk about this beer real quick?
Sure.
We have, I was about to say, the Dab. But Dab, it's an original style beer from Germany.
Yes.
It's what, Dutermunder? Is that how you say it? Dortmunder? Dutermunder? Export?
Dortmunder.
One of those was
Dortmunder.
Right.
Happy new beer.
Happy new beer. That's good.
It's good, right? I had it one time. I had it before. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely smooth.
Yeah, it's very smooth. Almost reminds me of like a light beer. Yeah, it's definitely really good. I'm digging these beers. The only disappointing thing is like 4-packs, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to buy a couple of them, and then it just adds up, and then you're spending like $40 at the liquor store because you really get like a 12-pack.
Yeah, it's good because you want to try different stuff too.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I guess you could say that too. Like, why make a 12-pack of beer or something that you probably wouldn't like?
Exactly.
So the 4-packs are definitely better. It just sucks sometimes.
Well, of course.
You know? It's like, oh, this is good beer. I wish I had more.
For $20.
Yeah, that too. But okay. First couple of things, I do want to make it more of an intention to help us spread and get more listeners. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make try to do some goals here. We appreciate the listeners. We're definitely seeing some uptrending in that. Like I say every time we get on here, I'm telling Ito mostly about, the past 30 days, 100 downloads, all that good stuff. And we are seeing some traction with that. But what we also need are followers, particularly on YouTube, and likes. Actually, both for YouTube and Podbean specific. They definitely have a specific algorithm. Basically, their computer basically tells a person when they're searching for something like Archive 81 reviews, that system will basically be the reason of whether or not we will actually be listened to.
Right.
And in order for us to gain traction on this algorithm, you definitely have to follow on Podbean and YouTube. I'm definitely seeing the likes on YouTube. Don't hesitate to comment as well. It is usually me responding to you. So, I respond to you if you comment. But I think we have about, 3 followers on YouTube. So we're going to set a little goal, just a little. Let's see if we can get 10 subscribers by the end of the month of April, and we build from there. As well as Podbean, we do have a little bit more followers on there. I think we have about 20 to 22. So we're going to try to go to 30. 30 followers on Podbean, 10 subscribers on YouTube, as well as likes and comments. That would really help us out a lot and continue to spread the conversation, basically. And Mo's and Uran Kabashi's Beat Tape Heroes has dropped. It dropped yesterday, April 15th. It is called Smashing Buttons 2, Beat Tape Heroes. I was listening to it today. I personally love it. I love listening to old school retro video game beats and themes with a little bit of a hip-hop twist. Right now, one of my favorites is Enchanted. That beat, that intro beat is awesome, and that beat drop is just magnificent. So I definitely wanted to just tell you about those few things. And as always, we are going to do a shout out because we made it. We survived the Archive 81 season. Shout out to that, and let's talk about it.
Shout out.
All right, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a little bit of discussion about the whole series in general and what's for. We did talk a little bit about that last episode, but let's just jump right into to the finale.
Yeah.
So it starts off.
With black and white footage of
Yep.
Jess and Melody,
Mm-hmm.
and Melody's asking Jess, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And Jess says, "I want to be a bird."
Yeah, At first I thought it was gonna be like another commercial, but then I realized I'm like, holy shit, that's Melody. And Jess is just telling Melanie, "What do you want to be?" You see Melanie kind of hesitate, and then credits roll. So you're like, okay, let's go. And then basically where we are from here, we are straight brought back until when Melanie was taken.
Right.
And she is screaming, stark breaking mad, raving mad,
Banging on the door.
just let me the fuck
me the
out.
fuck out.
Know, what's going on?
I love her
I shouldn't
dirty
be
mouth.
here, man. Right? she has no problem expressing herself. And all of a sudden, door opens. Steven comes in. And they have a bit of a discussion because Melanie is really pissed. She's like, "You're fucking a part of this." You know, she's basically snapping.
Yeah, accusing him of helping Samuel or what he's doing and stuff like that. And that's when he stops. Like, no, the guy you know as Samuel, I know as Alexander Davenport.
Yeah, he's like, turns out it is the guy that you remember when we discussed at my house, and I got the tapes. He's like, I actually got the package that you sent me, and that's why I came and had you removed. So his story makes sense a little bit because he definitely, it seems like he did save her.
Yeah,
you know, she
yeah.
was about to get caught by, I think, with George Smith. I think that's the
John Smith.
John Smith.
First time you messed that up. You know?
No. And, you know, hey, had to happen in the finale, right? And so, but she's locked up. So I'm assuming he had to basically say she was crazy.
Right.
And get her admitted.
Exactly. Like, feel like that was the only way to get her out of there.
Yeah.
And so he said, basically, I want to get you out of town. Like, I want to get you out of here, keep you safe. And then Melly just can't stop thinking about Jess.
Yeah,
Like,
he
he tells him about Jess and all that.
And he's like, "Oh, we're gonna call child services," and she's like, "What the fuck? This
She's
child
not gonna
services
do anything,
gonna do?"
right?
I do like that because at this point he knows, and Steven is being a little naive here.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, we'll call, 911. They'll handle it." She's like, "Do you?"
Well, there's only so much he can do.
That
you know
is
what
true
I mean?
too.
And so it's like he's doing what he can do. He's not going to go a step further, breaking the law and stuff like that.
Yep.
Something she might be willing to do.
Yeah, and
because she
this
did build a relationship with Jess. It'd be different if he knew Jess or he met her one time, but that doesn't mean build any kind of emotion towards her.
Yeah,
You know?
you got a point on there. And basically, Melanie is just like, I'm leaving. He's like, okay, if you got to leave, let me show you something first.
Right.
And then he shows her Annabelle. And Annabelle has been doing a little decorating.
Yes.
in
They won't give me
her role.
paper no more, so I'm going to start drawing on the wall.
Yeah, and basically, she's still drawing Iris Voss. And, Melanie and her have this, mini reunion. She's like, oh, I was supposed to go back for you. I'm sorry. Who's this person? I know this person.
Yeah,
She's
they
done
knows who
really
she
bad
is,
things. Right. Melanie is telling Annabelle, as soon as Annabelle realizes that this person isn't good, I guess she thought Iris was good.
Maybe, because she was painting her, I guess. But
Annabelle is like, oh my God.
We can't let her out. No. We can't let her out. Right.
She
starts scratching
her faces, feeling her faces through it. Melody's just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That she's in the other world waiting for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The ferryman's here.
And we also see, I believe as Annabelle was saying, that she looks toward the window because Melanie's like, ferryman, what the fuck are you talking about? And then she kind of looks toward the window, and it leads Melanie to believe, she's like, what, the comet? And she goes, yes, that's the ferryman.
Yes.
So now we know, as the last episode showed us, when the comet comes and travels through Earth, it gives you the ability,
like that's the thinnest veil between the two worlds.
Yes, and you can be able to cross if you do the ritual correctly into Kaledo's world, basically. Which, again, I don't know, but it's interesting. So I'm gonna ride with you on this. So okay, Annabelle, we got something together, and what we see is Melanie lift up the window, and then it goes back into the room where they're just like, oh, so you said she flew? And there is one funny part of that. Annabelle's just like, well, I may have faked a heart attack.
I may have faked a heart attack. Right,
And basically, Mark starts to question her. He's like, hey, how long have you been painting Melanie for? She's like, I've been, doing this for quite some time. You need to save her. Not only that, I also have something. She goes under her bed, and basically it's tapes that Jess made, because I forget which episode it was, but Jess we did see her with the recorder, and that Jess was like, hey, I'm a film production person too.
Exactly.
And so that's basically what Annabelle gives Mark and Dan.
Then find out that this whole time that Jess now is a sister Mary Cecilia in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
So she's still alive.
And it impacted her life to the point where she became a sister.
Right.
Yeah,
and she dedicated her life to the church.
Oh, whoa. You know what I'm saying? And I guess, she's young and seeing and witnessing all this shit that happened. That is pretty fucking crazy. But so they go back.
I did write down it was the tapes were for a Fisher Price PXL 2000 cam for kids.
Yes, I didn't write the PXL, but I did put Fisher Price to it. Yeah, because what happens is they go back and he tries to put it in stereo because they think it's cassette.
They think it's a cassette tape.
And at first I thought it was because I'm here. Ooh. I'm like, speed it down. There's a message. And then he's like, wait a second. He's like, I remember one year Fisher Price made this thing, this recorder for kids, basically. And
just so happened to have
got it last year off of eBay or some shit. And then he plays it. And what they find on the tapes is
that footage that we saw in the beginning, the black and white footage. And they basically goes back to, that question that they asked Melody.
And she just says she wants to be happy.
I just want to be happy.
Yep. And he continues. Some tapes don't have anything. And then he puts in a tape, and I guess the camcorder was in a locker in the Visser.
Yes.
Because it's picked up by Melanie, and Melanie is basically she is just basically spilling everything in a professional way for the police to find. Exactly. She's giving her full name.
My name is Melanie Pendress. I am at the Visser.
She's mentioning names. Yeah. She's mentioning, hey, I believe they're abducting, it's child abuse. They're abducting this girl, and I'm going to get proof, basically. So if anything type of happens to me, you heard it here first. Right. And she proceeds to find Jess.
Yeah, she gets the key and gets on the elevator to go to the 6th floor because she knows that's where they're keeping her.
Mm-hmm.
So she climbs out the window of the room next to hers in order to get into Jess's room.
Yeah, because she's screaming Jess, and Jess is like, I'm in here.
Yeah,
but the door is barred from the inside. I'm just like, that's fucking
why?
Random.
Right.
Especially since Jess seems like she believes fucking all of this.
Exactly.
Everything. But yeah, so just like you say, she do a little Spider-Man action. She goes through the window, and she really has a heart-to-heart to Jess, because Jess wants to do this. She wants to hold the whole world in herself, her body, whatever they say. And she doesn't really know what's about to happen.
Right.
And Melanie kind of fills her in, and she's just like, hey, they're going to kill you. They're going to sacrifice you.
It's a sacrifice, exactly.
And Jess still is kind of processing this information. She's like, no, they wouldn't do that. I've known them since I was a kid. Yada, yada, yada. But Melanie does seem to break through.
Yeah, she breaks through.
Jess. And she says, hey, you got to take the fire escape. Man, I have never taken one of those. We still got a few of those in Chicago, but she's always
there's
cool
a good amount downtown.
Those 90s movies where you have to go out the window and then push the thing all the way down and try to escape. Be fucking terrified. My skinny ass been trying to jump.
They still got a bunch of those downtown.
Really?
Oh yeah, downtown.
And so as Jess is heading out, we hear John Smith
banging on the door.
And he goes
because she blocks the door with a chair.
And if you thought he wasn't involved, this clearly lets you know that he is. He gets in and he goes, where's the girl? Where's Jess? Where's Jess? And then he sees her, backbeat running down the street and shit, like her shadow. And he punches.
He knocks the shit out.
Living shit. I was like, he ain't finna do that to Melanie. Knocks her ass out. clean the fuck out.
Damn, I did not expect that at all because I didn't know what to think of him. Like you said,
Yeah,
like
you
if
know-
anything now, you know.
Yeah, I was like, maybe, he's still kind of convinced because, he black, I'm shocked he's believing in this code. I'm just saying from a black person, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he knocks her.
He didn't look black to me.
Really?
He was black.
I thought
He looked Hispanic.
Really?
I think that's a
Holy shit.
fake ass name, number one.
Yeah, well, of course.
But he looked
yeah.
Hispanic to me. But
Well, all right. Yeah, so Melanie wakes up. Is it that the next day she wakes up in the basement, basically, and she is surrounded by everybody.
Right.
Basically, all the tenants
The
except
cult.
for Beatrice is there. I was wondering, I was like, Beatrice? Oh, so she really does believe it's a sex cult.
Yeah.
Oh. I was looking.
That's
looking
funny.
for
I didn't
Beatrice.
even think
I
about
was
that.
like, she really does that. That would make sense.
Yeah.
So Melanie wakes up, and the first thing she does after she realizes where she is she looks at Samuel, she goes, "Your vessel's gone, bitch.
Yeah, he's like,
Game over."
you're the one I really need.
And you just like, oh shit, here we go. And Tamara, she's kind of giving him looks in the background too. Like we can clearly see Tamara. So we're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I'm still a little bit, even as I talk to you, as much as information you gave me about the bulldog and stuff. Like I didn't know at this point what was going on. I was like, okay, is he? No, he's not sacrificing her. Samuel's made that clear previous episodes.
Right, that he's not
does
Melody, right.
sacrifice her. So I was like, do he need her to say the words to activate the whole thing? That's what I was assuming. But no, he actually needs her blood.
Right.
And he put the blood on.
And that was the whole thing about when Iris did it, and they were like they needed her alive, but they killed her. That Baldong at that time.
That's why they
poured
the
it
blood.
instead, but they needed the
okay.
live. They needed the blood fresh. So that's apparently how they think that Iris messed up because they used the post-mortem blood instead of the fresh blood.
Is it ever clear that Samuel knows exactly what happened to Iris?
No.
Because obviously it's known,
Well, I feel like they're saying that they know exactly what happened, but they say that she messed up, and they're saying that's how she messed up.
Okay.
That was the reason why she messed up, and it didn't work. They don't know that she went to the other world. The whole
They just
time
think everybody
they're
died.
still thinking They're still thinking they're bringing Caligo to this world.
Okay, cool. This is good info. I appreciate that shit.
Oh yeah.
And so, at this point, John Smith stands up. Melanie, Samuel is saying the ritual.
Right.
Everybody's starting to gather
Like I say,
together.
he chooses Tamara as the new sacrifice.
Yes. For whatever reason, Melanie still thinks that she can reach. Like she can get through to somebody down here. She looks at Tamara dead in her face, even though Tamara made the soundtrack of Caligo.
Right.
It goes, "Don't do it. Don't let Samuel do this to you." Tamara don't even gotta say nothing. She just giving her a look like, "Bitch, I know what the fuck I'm doing."
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Right.
and
So
so
at the same time, while they're starting this ritual, they're playing the old ritual in the black background.
Didn't catch that. I gotta think on that. Anyways, he's saying the thing. John Smith moves Melanie towards. He slits her hand, and then he places her hand on the Caligo statue. The blood just oozes out, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah,
I like how it filled
in
the
right.
statue. I thought
Because
that
they
was
didn't do
pretty
that even
badass.
like the first time when she
Yeah.
poured the blood and all that.
Yeah,
you
she
know?
just kind of
Just
don't.
yeah. The whole time Melody screaming. So,
Yep. And Tamara comes up. He slices Tamara's neck. She's dead basically at this point. And Samuel is pleading for Caligo to appear.
Right. Then the light comes.
Yeah, and instead of it going out, we actually see what happened. And what we see is the portal come down. It's like a bluish portal, but what we see is Iris.
You see
in the
Iris,
portal.
exactly.
And Samuel responds like, "I don't understand. Like, what the fuck is going on?"
Wait, why are you here?
Yeah, I'm assuming he was trying to bring Caligo out just like Iris was.
did. So he's like, wait, what's going on? This isn't right. Then all of a sudden you see Jess on the stairs.
She's the one who's
and she's recording
this.
exactly.
Yeah.
And she yells, "Melody!"
Yep, and as she yells Melody, it's interesting what Samuel does. he like holds Melanie's hand, like really, it's not like he pulls her like, bitch, get over here. He literally just holds her hand and slides in the portal. He just takes one step in the portal. I'm assuming Melanie doesn't realize this because she's paying attention to Jess. Right. And then boom.
They disappeared. Samuel, Melody, and Iris.
Yes. And everybody else in the Visser. I am assuming this is at the point where the Visser catches on fire. This is what I was a little bit confused at. I mean, obviously, they don't say what happens, after this. But if we're led to believe the same shit happened with Iris, after this moment, wouldn't it catch on fire and everybody died? Technically?
That's what it would seem like.
I mean, at least, I'm just, shooting the shit here.
Apparently, that is what happened.
Yeah. And so we were led to believe Jess escapes. Now she's just traumatized and she wants to be a Christian. Yeah. So she goes to her nearest church. And I was assuming before that stops her and gives Annabelle the tapes.
Right, or something. Right. Probably later on she gave her the tape.
Yeah, you know what? Because she, like you said, she had to go to Haiti. Yeah. And
so this is when you again see Dan and Mark watching the tape.
And they're just shocked at this point.
They're like, we just got into a glimpse of the other world. Like,
And it's funny because I do like this scene because I love Mark's interpretation. I wrote Mark's dumbed down version of what happens because they're like, okay, let's make it seem like this shit is real. He goes through the whole thing. He's like the Voss family from 1925 to the Visser in 1994 to now. I think we saw him in his world. Technically, if this stuff is real, basically it seems like Iris got pulled in unintentionally, and so did Samuel and Melanie.
So if we were able to see Iris still at her same age and all that, Melody must be in there still alive as well.
Exactly. And that, leaves for hopes, of that Melanie-Dan relationship, you know what I'm saying? Aren't you 9 the last time I saw you? Yeah, but yeah, and Dan is basically convinced. He's like, I have to save her.
Right. So he says he's going to go to Virgil to help because he feels like he's got a ace in the hole that his brother's in there as well.
And so he goes and he meets him right at the, we're led to believe they probably, called him up, met him at the compound, and Virgil's just like, hey,
I told you not to come back here. What are you doing here?
Like, can you believe this motherfucker I gave $100,000 to destroy my compound is back?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he's back and Dad tells her, he's like, hey, there's another tape. And Virgil's like, nah, you're fucking with me. And he's like, no, I'm serious. And he's like, okay, lets him in. And I, for a split second, thought Mark was in that car. That's why Dan wanted to bring Mark. Mark is in the car. Yeah. It seems like, but he wanted to bring them. Virgil's like, no.
You can leave that there.
Leave that shit out there. Goes in, shows the tape to Virgil, and stops at the point where after Tamara's killed.
Right.
And he starts interrogating Virgil. And he's just saying, Virgil, you knew all about this. You knew what was going on. All that shit. Virgil actually at this point, he's really honest with him. He has his little whiskey.
Samuel told me all about this, but I just thought he was crazy.
Yeah, he's just like, in fact, he told me the night that Chris died, right outside the Visser. That night he told me about all this shit.
Right.
And then he's just like, don't you understand what you're looking at? He's like, isn't it amazing? He has a little bit of a soliloquy speech about how it's amazing to catch life on a recorder. Just in general. Yeah. And you don't know what you can catch when you actually recording something.
Yeah, he said videos are a window to the other side.
Yeah, and that is very true because, we say, obviously recording shit now. When we're gone. You know what I'm saying? When we're long and gone, as long as our shit's on YouTube, our shit's gonna be there forever. Isn't that a little bit tripped out / scary / so interesting?
Yeah.
That can happen. And I had to take a step back. And when Virgil said that, I'm just like, dang, we don't really think about what this technology does and how we use it and how it connects sometimes even to the past.
Yeah.
Like, shit's getting so good. 7K may see ghosts, my dude. You know what I'm saying? We're already on 5K. Right. We get close. And he basically says, hey, And to add to matters, I just got these tapes a year ago.
Right. That's why he started questioning him like about that, and then he was like, I just got these tapes, and it was hard to get these tapes, and it turns out that people will do anything to stop these tapes.
And he was like, sorry about that. We haven't done this. Happy New Year. I've been drinking the beer like
too.
a motherfucker.
Me too.
But that definitely been saying it. He mentions that Steven had him locked up in a storage facility and then finally went on auction. And he does talk about how Steven basically knew that some people would want this. He's just like, damn, if this whole Melanie shit went down, I'm pretty sure Samuel isn't the only motherfucker.
Well, and he's basically telling Dan that your father having the tapes was the reason your house was burned out and your family was killed.
Yeah, he says you were supposed to be in the house.
You were right.
Supposed to. And I thought that was interesting because I would like to dive more into there. Like, who did it then? Like, I understand.
Yeah, to me, I went straight thinking Baldon right away because they're the ones that want to stop this. And it seems like they'll do whatever it takes to stop this because they know the dangers of it.
You may have a point on that. And so at this point, Dan comes clean. He tells Virgil that Melanie is in the other world and he wants to get her out.
Right.
And Virgil is like, bro, I've tried to actually use this power. He said something along the lines of, I've tried to use this. We've tried to harness this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, for world domination, Virgil? That's what you was trying to do? And he's just like, but there is no possible on a human level, on a molecular level
that she could have survived.
You can go through that.
Survived this long on the other side.
Yeah.
And then he shows Virgil that Samuel's there too.
Yeah. And he shows him the rest of the video. And Virgil takes a good long look at the screen. He's looking at everything, and then he takes a drink, and he goes, well, I love, by the way, how he says Dan.
Yeah.
He goes, my brother was a dumbass, sick motherfucker. And why would I let him out of something that he got him on himself to? And at this point, I'm like, Virgil, you got a motherfucking point.
Right. At the same time, I'm like, you bogus motherfucker, you know? And then Dan just looking at him, and he's like, what? But you didn't expect that, did you?
He's just like, yeah, you thought that was your trump card, huh? Oh, well. And I guess in Dan's frustration, he thinks he can take Virgil. And Virgil is packing.
Oh, yeah.
They do a little skirmish, and Virgil pulls out the Glock, and he's just like, I really did like you, Dan. I just said the way he
Dan. Make him sound like Forrest Gump.
I know, right? He has it. I love the way he says Dan. I love this actor, by the way. Anyways, and then boom, Mark hits. I thought that was who it was going to be. I thought Bobby was going to be the one that knocked him
Bobby,
out.
the female, okay.
But it's Mark. And Mark hit his ass hard, too.
But a damn what?
And at this point, Dan is just like, he has that possessed look on his face. And Mark can't even, he's like, where you going? And he's just leading him basically to the area, to the ritual site, I guess you can say. They get down there, and then as they're trying to set up everything, he's like, hey, we got this blood. The blood's in the fridge.
At first, they go back and forth because Mark's like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And Dan's just like, I got to do this. I got to perform the ritual. And Dan tells him, like, you should leave. If you know what I mean? Get out of here. Mark says, this is not for the podcast, because I think Dan mentioned something about that. So this is not for the podcast. And I don't want to see you get hurt. I can't believe you would think I'd leave you. They hug and everything. They have a little moment there.
And he's like, and fuck you for thinking I would. Yeah, I
fuck
remember
you
that.
For thinking. I'm like, Mark's the G right there.
Yeah, happy new beer to Mark.
Happy new beer to Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a real motherfucker right there.
That's true. That is so true, because it's not a lot of motherfuckers that don't help you do a ritual, bro. Like, seriously.
Exactly. He came, knocked this motherfucker out for you and everything.
And was doing all this other research, right?
All this shit,
in this compound.
Even ignoring him, wouldn't let him into the compound and all this.
Yeah, shout out to Mark, man. Mark's a good dude. And And it ends up as they're trying to start the ritual. Bobby is behind Mark. She has a gun. And she's just like, hey, so y'all know Virgil was like basically clinging on to life. Like, y'all kind of almost, that shot.
You guys did a number.
That was actually a shot. And
it does turn out that you don't need the fresh Baldong blood to do the ritual.
Yes.
That's why they have the blood stored in there. He was able to, have that. Mm-hmm. No matter what, it opens the door.
Yes, and what we find out is Bobby explains is what you really need to actually open the portal and actually to sustain it is you need the Baldong and you need the key.
You need the key, which is a tone.
Yes. And so what we find out through this conversation, because Mark questions her. He's like, okay, so the Baldong is supposed to be the ones that protects us from Kalego, who don't want us to tap into this. But are you going rogue? Do you want to like claim this power for yourself? And then Dan is just like, no, that's not why she's here. That's her mom.
Exactly.
And then we find out, oh wow, she was protecting her daughter because she knew she was in the cover. She knew that the boss society and people like her
exactly.
was going
so
to be looking
she was
for
trying
Melanie.
To protect her, if anything.
I was like, oh, and you can tell the look on her face. Like, she is very, very emotional.
Yeah,
and she even asks, he's like, why are you even trying to save Melanie? And Dan does give her, like, he doesn't tell her, but she's just kind of like, she reached me.
Yeah, why would you risk your life for a stranger?
Yeah, exactly. And so we got a new team here. And they're about to go into this other world and kick Kalego's ass. And so they set it up. Bobby does the ritual. And she does tell him along the line something like, hey, remember this sound. Go towards this sound. You're going to be there for like 5 minutes. I can only hold it for this amount of time.
He said Kalego will try to keep you there.
Yes, he's like, he loves company. He needs people. He's lonely, and you can imagine, like, even a being that's not of this world, just wanting people to stay there. And I get it now when Iris says he'll give you anything you want because he can create anything you want in your world, in his world. So it does make sense of what Iris said. For all intents and purposes, he probably did give Iris that baby
in that world, right?
And so he goes there and he steps through. And is he automatically in the apartment when he goes, or does he have to go get to his like up house?
No, he goes to the door, and I think he's automatically in his house.
Yeah,
his old house, and he sees his sister on the piano.
And it's often similar to the memory that he's been seeing and we've been seeing throughout the season, but it's a little different. She's playing the same tune, Kalego's tune, baby.
The prayer.
That top 5 demon world on the 5 charts, music. And the dad walks in, Steve, and he goes, "What are you playing?" And she goes, "I don't know." And he goes, "Sounds good.
Sounds good, right?"
And then at this point, Dan is also communicating with him, and you can tell he feels like something is off. I don't know is when he came in this world, was he like quick amnesia? Because he seems like he's, his expression is kind of like, this isn't real. I know I'm not supposed to be here, but
it's just like still it's family I haven't seen in a while. They're right here in front of me. And apparently, this is supposed to be like if the fire didn't happen.
Yeah, and he sits down for dinner, and you can tell by the look on his face he sees that something just ain't right about this whole situation. And Steven kind of says something along the lines like, this can be, like you said, what should have happened. We can do this right this time. Right. You know what I'm saying? You can
have the life you were supposed to.
Exactly. He says that. And Dan is digging it. He is like, he is really in it right now until he starts to see flashes of Melanie, right. Telling him to save her, basically. And not only that, he's seeing flashes of his dad and Kalego mix, which I thought was awesome. That whole scene, like with the flash, I was like, that's fucking cool. So he tells them,
snaps out of it,
tears
right.
up, like, I gotta go. Leaves, finds Melanie in what is a church. How fitting.
Right.
She's waiting for her mother.
Like he goes, he's walking and looks like what is the visor.
Yeah.
And goes into the community room, and which leads into a church.
And it's by the music. He hears the music. I do
right.
remember that. I'm assuming it's one of like the bands that Melanie said previously. And he sees her. She's kind of like in between some benches. You know how the churches got
the pews,
listening, to her little stereo. And she says, Dan is like, hey, Melanie. He gets her attention. And she goes, Dan, is that you? You're real? And, they have a little bit of a connection moment. And he says, hey, we got to get the fuck out of here.
She's like, I'm waiting for something.
And we are led to believe that it's her mom.
Right.
Kalego got her just waiting.
Right.
And waiting.
Dan's like, it's a trap.
Yep, let's bounce. And she trusts him. And so they both leave.
And then you see, once they get up, start leaving, the church starts crumbling.
Yes, the bell is totally. I thought maybe that was a sign for him, like, hey, bro, you get your time is limited. You got to get the fuck up out of here. Church starts coming down. Dan leads her to what he think is the exit, but it's like, oh, I'm getting tripped up. Like, this isn't the way out.
Then they find a TV.
Yeah, he sees the compound.
That has the compound with the cameras.
I didn't get that. I want to talk to you about that. Yeah. What was he just trying to find his way out through the TV?
I think, he was trying to maybe find the camera that was in the ritual room.
Yeah, okay.
So he was changing the channels to get to that certain camera.
Yeah, because I was also thinking on a little bit of a deeper level, like, because he was watching, because again, Virgil tells him these tapes are important through another world.
Well, it could be that.
Now he's in the other world, and they're like, TV.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Yeah. Wow, does Kalago get reality on demand? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
So, I thought that was a pretty tripped out ass moment.
Yeah. So while he's changing those channels, Melody sees Kalego.
Mm-hmm. And he looks like something that could whoop the Avengers ass. Like, man, I was like, oh my God, the two scenes that he was in, fully informed, were just awesome. Yeah, she goes in, like you said, she goes into the apartment. She's hearing the humming, looks in the window, boom, he's behind her, and she screams. They start running.
That's when Dan hears her, right?
Mm-hmm. And then they get to this hallway. It seems like there's two exits. There's one closed door, and then there's one open door. And they go for the open door, but in the midst of this was the most fucking confusing part. Samuel grabs Melanie, while Dan is trying to stop him. So they have the whole, you see the hand and they split, and then boom, Melanie is in the real world.
She comes back to present time.
So I almost thought we were going to see Samuel too, like he was going to appear.
Right.
But
that was confusing to me too, right?
And I get the seeds that they were planning for season 2, and we will get to that later. But yeah, that was just confusing to me.
I agree.
They get there. There is a very touching moment. While my boy Mark is like, "Where's Dan?
Where's Dan?
Where's Dan?" We do see a little bit of a touching moment between Melanie and her mom. She goes, "Do I know you?" And it does, and Bobby's about to tell her.
Right.
But they're stopped by Mark because he's like, hey, time out.
Where's Dan? Right.
And he's obviously, they do the pan out, look at the whole area. He's not there. Dan wakes up in the hospital. And apparently he's been out for 10 days.
Yeah, 10 days, yeah.
The nurse, is she any of the people from the Visser? Because she looks so familiar.
No.
Okay. I just wanted to ask you that. And he's looking on the TV. The TV looks old school. What he's looking at looks old school. And he is desperately asking the nurse what year it is. She won't tell him, but she says the doctor will be with him soon.
No, and then you find out what year it is because it's MTV on the TV talking about Kurt Cobain just committed suicide, which was in 1994.
So, Dan is stuck in the other world. In this other world, it's the Visser.
No, it's not. He's not in the other world. He came out in the past.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they switched.
Yes.
Oh.
He is back in 1994 in the real world. So I don't know if the other door led to the 1994 or something, but yes, he is not in the other world. He is in the real world, but back in 1994. And the scene ends with him looking out the window, and you see the shadow of the Twin Towers.
Wow. So let's have a little bit of a discussion here, because obviously, like we said last episode, Netflix canceled this. Now, what's so crazy is when I was reading that Netflix canceled this, it was like Netflix canceled the Academy Award-winning show or Academy. I didn't even know this was nominated. I don't know if it won, but I think I heard it was maybe nominated, because the way they worded it in the article, I was like, what? A, they canceled, and B, it was nominated because, again, this is a very, very good, I don't even want to say mini-series, because you need to have a season 2.
Right.
Type of thing. But I'm just like, wow, Netflix, I am honestly shocked that you canceled this. From what I've heard, this got really good reviews. People love this show. And it's a little bit sad to see it go, especially without an explanation. Obviously, we could definitely have many and many conversations about what we think could happen. Is Melanie in 1994? Is this before she got to the Visser? While he's there, does he have an opportunity to stop this entire thing, or is this after? And so it is just, I
believe it is after, because they even mentioned that the nurse, I think, saying that he was the only one that survived the fire.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so, I have more answers. I see why my wife was like, I cannot believe there's not a season 2. These son of a bitches. Like, I have way more questions. Because I think that's what it was.
I think one door led to 2022 or 2021, and the other one led to 94.
Yeah.
The 2 rituals. You know what I mean? So that's why he woke up after that ritual, and she came back after that one.
See, and and it definitely does. So I do feel like Netflix, because they have the ability to put out entire seasons, they do a pilot season. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing a pilot episode,
and that
they just do a pilot season.
When you get to stuff like this that a lot of people like, and everybody I've talked to that's seen this show thinks it's great.
Yeah. They did it with Sense 8 to the point where they had to come back and make like a part 1 and 2 movie with Sense 8, because a lot of people fucking love that show.
So that's what I'm hoping, like somebody else picks it up, or something,
Yeah, instead of Netflix picking up Manifest.
Come on, HBO Max.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, bro, it will be way more brutal on HBO Max.
They already did it with my one show, Warriors.
Okay, so
I told you about that, right?
No, I didn't know that. So I'm just saying, hopefully they will pick it up, because at least give us a season 2. Like, give us an ending. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't have to be 8 episodes. You're giving me 5. I'll be cool with that.
Don't say that. I don't want 5 episodes.
As long as you can wrap this shit up good. You know what I mean?
They're just going to do a one-time 2-hour movie.
I know, right? Something. Give me something. But yeah, I really, really, really appreciate you recommending Archive 81. Happy New Beer to that.
Yes.
And yeah, we just got to figure out what the fuck we're going to watch next. But until then, definitely check out our Moon Knight reviews. We're pumping them out every week so we can actually stay on pace with you. Right. This is one of the series that we're actually able to do that from. So definitely check out our Moon Knight. That's actually gaining a lot of traction on YouTube. And when I mean a lot of traction, I mean 6 views. Which for a lot of traction is us. So we appreciate
definitely.
it.
So if there's any recommendations, please include that in the comments.
Movies as well, because we are definitely trying to mix and match, do movies and have some series reviews and stuff like that. We're trying to stay away from, unless I'm kind of reviewing them myself, where Ito can kind of pop in and out of series with a lot of seasons already. Right. That's a little bit difficult. Like I say, unless I'm able to do it, and Ito can kind of do, come in 2 to 3 times a season, where I can clear them out on, just me, because I'm able to do about by myself, but we're trying to do, new things and stuff like that. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I am Melvin Banks.
And this is Ito.
We are the Carbonation
Conversation.
Thank you for listening to the Archive Series reviews. As always, we love you.
Peace.